Well, welcome everybody to our Monday night show. And it seems like a week ago, in the last week, so much has happened. And I think for me, it was all highlighted by outdoor dining being open. So that our town, Palm Springs, seemed to have come alive. We're also going to talk about, Alan and I paid a visit to the Trini Lopez estate sale. And that was bustling, and we'll talk a little bit about that because it was, you know, he was a mainstay here in Palm Springs and a true legend. And I think, Conrad, you also had a chance to interview a vaccine clinical trial volunteer and how everything that he went through. Is that right?
Correct. Someone who actually lives here in the desert participated in the Moderna vaccine trial. Very interesting. Let's start off by talking about the fact that the desert is open again, as is all of California, majority of California, and that means outdoor dining is back, right?
Yep.
So this week I had an opportunity. We rode our bikes over to a restaurant called Jack's, which is in the Cathedral Canyon Golf Club area. It's a restaurant that maybe people don't know much about, but it has one of the most beautiful outdoor dining sections that overlooks the golf course and overlooks the mountains. If you haven't heard it, it's JAKS. And another show I do over in Cathedral City, we did a show on it. You can find it over on Cathedral City TV and Discover Cathedral City. You can find more information about it, but it's called Jack's. If you get a chance, it's kind of a secret right now, but I highly recommend it.
It's on CCTV?
It's on CCTV, exactly.
Oh, okay, great. And I don't know the Cathedral Canyon Golf Club. I know that there's so much construction. We kind of got caught in the middle of it. I think it was a week or two ago.
Yes, it's very close to that construction area. So.
Okay, great. Well, Tommy Bahama downtown was just alive and kicking. I found a beautiful spot in the sun. And I don't know, I kind of mentioned on an Instagram post that, like, is this mahi mahi fish taco like better than it's ever been and it's always been fabulous? Or was it just me?
They have a good fish taco.
And Alan and I also paid a visit with two friends to V Wine Lounge, one of our favorite places here in Palm Springs, where you can sit and sip, oh gosh, so many different unique and interesting wines, but a lot of great small plates. So you can actually, yes, have lunch there, not just appetizers.
And they have a little outdoor space now, don't they?
Oh yeah, I mean, they have, it's small, but by 1 o'clock, they open at 1 o'clock on the weekends. It was filling up. I mean, It was pretty much full when we left. And, you know, share plates, the carefully shared plates, as we know. Swedish meatballs are amazing. They're hummus and pita, bacon wrapped dates. And then they have little single flatbreads, you know, single flatbreads. So there's a lot of, lot that you can make up for an, an interesting lunch and sitting out on that beautiful patio.
Right.
So,
and let's remind all of our viewers, we definitely can go outside now and the restaurants are open, but remember, social distancing is still important. Wearing your mask when you get there, and then if you go to the restroom or when you leave, try not to share plates with each other. Let's make this one work. Let's make this one work by being aware of what we're doing.
I know, so we don't have to go back, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's talk about the estate sale, Trini. Yes. We all know Trini Lopez. He is and will forever be a legend. And he was really a mainstay in Palm Springs. People knew him. He loved him. He would get up with the GAN band and sing and just was a joy to be around. What a personality. I got to sing with him a couple times. It was fun.
And Claudia, some of his popular songs.
Lemon Tree was his first big hit. If I Had a Hammer. There's a whole bunch of
those are the two. Those are the two I think everybody knows.
And we actually did a show like in honoring him not too long after his passing. So that would be on PS Piano Bar, which you can all check out again and revisit because it was a fun show. So Alan had one goal when we went by bicycle. We went twice actually by bicycle. And he goes, I just want his hammer.
Hammer in the
morning. But he didn't want any hammer, not just a hammer that apparently some guy brought in a few hammers that he had signed. Alan went straight to the garage and found Trini's hammer. Now, if I had a mallet, I'd mallet him in the morning. Right in the toolbox. So we got that. I love it. So he didn't want to ride home on his bike with this, so we went back and actually we bought, and this is a This is a print, but
Pick it up a little bit higher. Oh, wow.
Cool sketch of Trini, right?
Very nice. Yes.
Isn't this cool? So we know where that's going to go in our house. And when we went back, we had the pleasure of meeting his wonderful nephew and a few other family members and hanging out by the beautiful pool. And it just made for a great day. It was
Claudia,
very special.
Where was the house? Where was
the house? Casa Lopez is in Vista Las Palmas.
And I would guess there were a lot of people there.
Oh yeah, and it went on for 2 days. So even when they were getting ready to close, when we went back yesterday, people were coming up and they had to be turned away. It was over. It was done. Let's hear about what your experience talking to the.
Yes. I spoke to a local resident. His name is Charles Drabkin. Him and I actually know each other. We were volunteers together over at the Palm Springs Cultural Center. And I found out, like many other people, through a Facebook posting of his, he kind of did a coming out thing in that he finally told his friends and family that he was part of the Moderna vaccine trial. And I was just flabbergasted that I actually knew someone who was part of that. Because I've always wanted to ask a couple of questions, and I've always thought viewers would want to know about how, when, why, all that kind of stuff. Let's go ahead and first of all, always great to see you, even through Zoom.
I know, great to see you.
We're getting closer and closer to being able to spend some actual time with each other, so that's good. And let's go ahead and get to the interview with Charles Drabkin. And for our viewers who would like to see, of course, we're going to give you a snippet of what we talked about, but if you would like to see the entire interview, I believe we're going to be able to put a link on our Facebook posting where you can actually go and see the entire interview also. So. Oh,
okay, great. Okay, well, salute from Palm Springs point of view.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
J&J, Pfizer, Moderna. These are all pharmaceutical names, companies that many of us may not have even known about a year ago. However, our guest today, Charles Drabkin, knew a little bit more about those and probably sooner than we did. And that's because he participated in one of the clinical trials for the Moderna vaccine. Charles, nice to see you.
Hi, Conrad. Nice to see you. It's been well over a year since I've seen you, I think.
It has been. I think we definitely want to let our viewers know here on Palm Springs Point of View that Charles and I know each other. We've worked together over at the Palm Springs Cultural Center and probably several other places as we all volunteering around.
Right. We're such a volunteer-oriented community. So yes, 6-8 months ago, I saw an ad, probably on the internet, looking for volunteers to participate in a vaccine trial. At that point, none of us really knew what was going on. We were all, at least I was, sitting in my house feeling pretty hopeless, pretty useless. Like I couldn't do anything. Right. As you know, like I'm a doer and I like to help, and I didn't feel like I could do much of that. But I thought, well, this is a way I can actually help, move us forward somehow. So I contacted the study, and they sent me.
Charles, let me ask you before you get there. So there must have been sleepless nights or discussions in your head or with your partner or with close friends about should you, shouldn't you?
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about what was going on before you actually said, I'm going to go for it.
Right. So, first I contacted the study and they kind of sent me paperwork so I could review it. And I read through the paperwork that talked a lot about, what this was, that it was not a live virus or a dead virus, but in fact, sort of a lab created piece of RNA. I sent that same paperwork both to my personal doctor and to a friend who's a doctor and asked them to kind of review it to make sure. I talked to my husband, I talked to friends about whether, this was a good idea. The one person I didn't talk to was my mother, because I didn't need her to worry any more than she was already, Jewish mother. So,
and I want to tell our viewers, one of the reasons I found out about that you had participated in this is that you recently, what I would say, came out on Facebook the other day and finally told friends and family that that you were part of this study.
Sure.
So, how did your mom? Is she a Facebook friend of yours, or did you find?
I told her beforehand, but I didn't tell her initially, and they they did ask us initially to not talk about this on social media. We were fine to have conversations with friends, but they didn't want us to talk to social media or to the regular media, because Moderna wanted to control the study, and it was the Moderna study.
So you get accepted, you fill out all the paperwork, they tell you that you're in. Do you do this trial here in the desert? Do you have to travel somewhere for it?
So sort of in the desert. I had to go to Banning, so half an hour away, which honestly was probably more dangerous for me than the actual study itself. Like I like getting on the freeway. I think I had a much higher chance of death or injury. Particularly given the way I drive. But
I wasn't going to say anything.
No. So I drove to Banning. There was a nasal swab. They took a bunch of blood.
Were you on your own? Is this like done in secret? So it's just you walking in the door, or do you go into an auditorium of a bunch of other folks and you see your friends? How does that work?
Oh, no. I wouldn't say it was done in secret, but it was, I had an appointment, and it's COVID times. So I was the only person, I drove to a medical office building essentially, and, called them when I got there, and they, I came in and they put me in an exam room, and I sat in the exam room for what seemed like forever the first time. But I wouldn't say it was in secret. I mean, it was just a medical building.
You got your first shot. I would guess that they sent you home with paperwork and numbers to call and things you have to fill out as you're going through.
Yeah, and a little swag bag. I downloaded an app so for the first week, I had to take my temperature every day. I had to log into the app every day and report, some basic health, if I was experiencing any symptoms, COVID symptoms, arm soreness, if I had a fever or a cough. So that was for the first week afterwards. For a week now, you've had the vaccine and you're filling out paperwork, and obviously you're filling out paperwork and saying things, but I would guess in your mind, your head has got to play games with, did I get it? Do I have the placebo? Do I not? How does that? Oh, sure. It was all I could think about, I decided, I assumed I just got the placebo because I had zero side effects. My arm didn't hurt. Like when I got a flu shot a couple of weeks later or a month later, that hurt more. And then a month later, I went back in for the second shot because this is unlike the Johnson & Johnson, which looks like it may only be one shot, right. Although it looks like there was some information that came out today. I've become a COVID vaccine nerd. Like I read everything. But then on January 17th, I got an email from the study coordinator saying that they were unblinding the group, and if I would like to, I can make an appointment and go in and find out whether I had the vaccine or the placebo. And if I got the placebo, they would give me the vaccine or start the vaccine regimen.
Is that right?
Okay. And I was like, yes, sign me up. I'm ready to come in. I would have driven to Banning that day and just sat outside the clinic if I thought that would have been useful. And then I didn't hear from them for 2 weeks, and I started to, as we all do, I started to get nervous and did they forget about me? What's happening? So I contacted them, and they said, they were just starting to make appointments, but they were doing it in the same kind of protocol as the general population. So there were tiers. And although I would be sort of bumped, first they were going to get the people who were 65 and above, who were in the study, and then they would do the medical, however it was. Right. So I just had to be patient. So I was, or as patient as I'm capable of.
I got sooner or later you got
a week and a half ago now, I got a call for an appointment. I set it up. It was this last Monday, the 25th. I went to Banning. I got they came in, they said, well, what do you think you have? And I have to tell you, the clinic staff were so excited. Like you could tell that like this was such a joyful thing for them to be able to let people know where they stood.
Oh, so they finally told you what you would. Oh,
right.
yeah.
So and the doctor came in and she said to me, you know, what do you think you got? And I said, oh, I'm pretty sure I got the placebo. And she said, oh, you're right.
Hmm.
And I said, great. And she said, are you ready for the vaccine? I was like, yeah, I'm ready. So they came in, they gave me the vaccine. I sat out in the waiting area for the half an hour while they observe you to make sure that you don't have an adverse reaction. And then it started to snow. So I thought, well, maybe I did get a superpower. Maybe I can make it snow. Like,
so it's you brought the grapple, I guess, then, huh?
Maybe. The science really showed me, and I'm a great believer in science, that there was very, very low risk for myself. I mean, I had sleepless nights about COVID and the state of the world and the election and but this vaccine didn't. This just felt like the right thing to do. Yeah. You know, one of the things I love about Palm Springs and living in Palm Springs and, you know, how I met you was this spirit of volunteerism that we have. And again, I felt like I couldn't do anything to make the world a better place. And I try to live my life in a way that I do that, but I couldn't with this. And then there was an opportunity and it just felt like, well, of course, this is what I'm going to do.
Like you're saying, it's just, some people, it's just what they do. And because of people such as yourself and the other, who knows how many thousands of people, we have a vaccine now.
In my study, there were about 30,000. I don't know about the other vaccine trials, but my study was about 30,000 people.
Right. Well, thank you for doing your thing. That's just in you to do your thing. We as a public have benefited from your involvement. And, you know, it's a great thing for you. It's a great thing for us. And it's a great thing for the desert that we have people in the desert who wanted to get involved. Well, thank you. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, Conrad. Have a great afternoon.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.